on LLA about your third stimulus with breaking news about what's going on the path, actual double path, to get stimulus done. Yesterday and this morning on Mornings LLA and Early Mornings LLA, I detailed for you that the vote on the House side to pass your third stimulus bill will happen next week. But what's going to go on in the Senate? Chuck Schumer now confirms today that the vote on the Senate side will happen as early as next week as well. Incredible great news to start your midday recording. But I'll also be explaining why there's a parallel move, a plan B that's also going on. I want you to understand what that plan B is and understand that it's a backup plan, not a first plan, as to get the stimulus relief done, signed, and on the president's table by as early as the end of next week. This is incredible great news, and this is a midday recording of Home LLate. Thank you for joining me. This is LLate, and wow, what a day it is. I'm really excited for you. If you've not subscribed, please subscribe. Go to the Friends channel, hit that subscribe button. It's also at the top of the chat. It's in the pinned comment, also to the description. Become a subscriber because this is the fastest growing community there is with the most in-depth reporting 24/7. Now a 24-hour news channel with 100 million views as its target. Now at 92 million and just a few million away to get it by the next few weeks. Help us get there by making sure you watch all of today's videos. Also hit that alert button and also hit that like button. It helps for the videos to appear higher in the rankings. In today's recording, I'll also be answering some of your incredible 2,000 questions from actually not yesterday, the day before's Home LLate recording. So if you have questions in today's recordings, drop them in the comments to this video and I may answer them on tomorrow's Home LLate. Meantime, if you're not a member, consider becoming a member. And I see some of the members are already flooding into the chat room. Become a Purple Hawk, Purple Power, or Calcino VIP. And I'll have it a PDF for you right after this recording. Let's get to the breaking news. The breaking news as you start this afternoon is now we have confirmation as well from the Senate that the vote will be next week on the third stimulus check bill. This is incredible, great news. If you missed morning's LLA, let me give you the recap. The recap is the following. The third stimulus check bill from Joe Biden with a $1,400 stimulus check for individuals, $1,400 for children, and $3,200 for adult dependents, with other things that are incredibly great that I'm going to go over in this video. No less than 22 incredible stimulus items, some of which, however, need revision, are currently in a bill. And that bill is in the House of Representatives. One half of the Congress, the House of Representatives, is led by Nancy Pelosi. And Nancy Pelosi has given an instruction to her House subcommittees to get a vote and approval subject by subject done by Friday. Yes, 48 hours from now. Those subcommittees are divided by topic. So, for example, the business subcommittee deals with the business grants and the business loans. Their job, analyze the language, analyze the numbers, and make sure they're correct. If they're correct, give a vote of approval. Nancy has ordered that vote of approval by Friday. Then she'll be calling for a final vote among all House representatives next week. It'll get passed. The House is dominated by her party, Democrats. Then the bill goes to step 2. It goes to the Senate, and in the Senate, Chuck Schumer will call it for a vote. He's now the majority head of the Senate. His party leads the Senate. Hey, Catherine, welcome to the family. Everyone welcome Catherine for becoming a Purple Hawk. She's our first Purple Hawk in this video to join as a new member. Welcome to the family, Catherine. Glad to have you along. Chuck Schumer now confirms in a quote, which I'm going to go over minutes ago, that he will be calling this for a vote next week. That means the bill would pass by the end of this week and be on the president's table in the White House, potentially by the end of next week. You could finally have a law by the end of next week. Can you imagine? Absolutely incredible, great news. Now, there is a parallel process going on. About a week and a half ago, I asked viewers, do you want me to talk about something boring procedurally? And they said no. And then yesterday I said, well, I have to talk a little bit about it now because it's becoming a bigger issue. Well, now it's actually a very large issue, so it's not particularly as boring as I thought it was. So I try to make it clear and crisp and get in and out as quickly as I can. That boring procedure that I was referring to is called a reconciliation process. A new series of news reports just today in the last few minutes, which I'm going to be going over shortly from Politico, says that Democrats are considering a two-prong approach. What does that mean? Well, they have to do the budget and they also have to do stimulus. They have to do both of them. It's not one or the other. The budget goes by reconciliation, and the stimulus, well, they have an idea. They're doing the stimulus by bill, which I just discussed with you, but they're also preparing the stimulus by reconciliation as a backup, even though no one thinks it's really going to go by reconciliation. Why? Because you can't put everything in a reconciliation. They want to keep everything that you need, I want, everything American people need in a bill. So let me go through the breaking news this afternoon about what's going on. Negotiations continue to unfold. Joe Biden, Democrats, Republicans have been meeting and talking about the bill since last week. And while the negotiations have been fruitful, there hasn't been much progress. And that's causing some Democrats to say, just go ahead and do it. They're not going to agree to anything. Just go ahead and do it. Welcome, James, to the family. Hey, James, number 2 in joining this chat. How are you, James? Welcome to the family. The second one to join in this chat. If you're just joining me, I'll have an update at the 15-minute mark. We're also simulcast on Instagram, which is free to watch. I'll guarantee you that I'll sit down with many of my Republican friends and find a pathway forward, says Senator Joe Manchin, Democrat of West Virginia. But Bernie Sanders didn't have the same type of comments. Bernie Sanders said, people can talk to whoever they want to talk to, but this country faces enormous crises. Elections have consequences. We're in the majority. We've got to act. Very refreshing by Bernie. Very refreshing. His nuance is that, hey, we won. Why do we have to sit around for a bunch of people that didn't win and haven't been moving? If they don't want to move, then we got to move. You lost. It's time for us to move. Very refreshing. Thank you, Bernie, with taking us back to the reality of you're the party in control. Just go do it. If you don't want to come along, then you don't want to come along. We try to get you to come along. Of course, that's not bipartisanship. That's sort of like my way or the highway, Bernie style. Josh Gothenheim, who's not particularly my favorite, as you particularly know on this channel, Democrat in New Jersey, he's part of the problem creators for Vol 2020, said if they thought it was impossible, I don't think they'd be wasting their time. The first mission is to find a bipartisan way forward. He's right. He's absolutely right. That's a great quote by Josh. The first effort is to do bipartisanship. It just hasn't done anything yet. So it's time to start moving. Gothenheim leads a group of moderates from both parties that met with Biden's team on Tuesday afternoon, and they chatted again, and they chatted some more. Well, this chatting is getting a little bit anxious for a lot of people, including the viewers of this channel, who says, stuff with the chatting, just get it done. Caroline, welcome, Caroline, number 3 to family, to join the family in this chat. And there's Manuel, Caroline and Manuel. Come on, Manuel. Everyone welcome Caroline and Manuel to the family, number 4 and 5. Wow, very exciting. Chuck Schumer said on Tuesday that he prefers, I'm quoting now Politico, he prefers the GOP to be on board, the Republicans, but Chuck Schumer will move without them if they don't move. And Chuck Schumer told Senate Democrats on Tuesday that they could vote on a budget as soon as next week. Wow. Schumer told reporters yesterday, some of the comments have been admittedly disheartening, meaning they're negative. But we're always hopeful that some of them will see the light. And remember, even on reconciliation, Republicans can join us. So he's going back to that reconciliation. More about that in a second. Senate Majority Whip Dick Durbin, Democrat out of Illinois, says, I hope it doesn't lead to reconciliation. In the past, Republicans have changed some of the rules relative to reconciliation to accommodate that legislative efforts. But Republicans now believe that they have to do something. This is quite interesting. So Republicans are now quoted since yesterday and this morning saying that they believe, for purposes of optics, how things perceive, that they need to sign on to stimulus relief. Much sort of like the second stimulus of December. That it didn't look good in the middle of a pandemic, in the middle thick of winter in December, People's holidays are upon them, that a party would say, no stimulus for you. Hey, Mariah, what's Mariah? Everyone welcome Mariah to the family. Welcome, Mariah, for becoming part of this family. So Republicans are now saying that they think they'd have to do something as well. They think it looks bad not to do something. So that's really quite good. But here is two twists. House Budget Chair John Yarmouth, Democrat of Kentucky, says that he doesn't think that the raising the federal minimum wage in a budget bill will look good for Democrats. I'm not sure that's the smartest thing that you have to do. You do have to worry about precedent. There's concerns that maybe it doesn't fit in a budget bill. But here's what Politico says, and this is where you have to really stay close and focus on it. I'll say it slowly because it's a little bit confusing. I'm going to explain it right after I say this to you right now. For now, Democrats say that they're moving on parallel tracks. The House could vote as soon as next week to tee up the first step towards a Democrat-only bill by approving a budget resolution that includes instructions to unlock reconciliation as bipartisan talks continue in both chambers. Lawmakers may introduce the budget bill on Monday. Democrats say they have no choice but to move ahead with reconciliation now because it would likely take several weeks if Democrats decide to deploy the privileged procedure. So what does this mean? It sounds very complex. Let me make it very basic for you. They're going to do two routes. They're going to go two routes. They're doing everything you heard me talk about today and last night and early this morning. They're going to do the $1.9 trillion bill. They're going to do the bill. But they're also doing another path as a backup. That path is called reconciliation. And the reason why they're doing it two ways is because the reconciliation has a time frame issue. They can't wait to do it. They have to start it ahead of time. So they're going to do two paths. But between you and I, they're not going to do it by reconciliation. They're just making it look like they're going to do it by reconciliation. They're doing it by the budget. They're doing it by the bill. I do believe it's time for half measures. I would absolutely support doing the reconciliation. Sooner the better. My state is suffering, and we need the state money. That's Kristen Gillibrand, Democrat of New York. I don't agree with her. And a lot of people don't agree with her. So let me explain why this budget bill is so important. Let me explain your stimulus check. Let me explain your SSI and SSDI and all that and more. You and I want a third stimulus package that has everything in there. We want the SSI, SSDI, Social Security, railroad benefits, veterans benefits of $200 on top of your existing benefits. Thank you, Kathy, for joining the family. Number 8. Thank you, Kathy, for joining this wonderful family. You want everything in this budget bill. You don't want things taken out. It's not as though it's so robust to begin with. You want the SSI and SSDI in there. It was not mentioned in Joe Biden's summary papers about the bill. You want FPUC at $600 a week in there. You don't want it at $400 a week. You want FPUC in there retroactive. You don't want it just going forward. You want $2,000 stimulus check for 2021 plus $1,400 from the Cash Act left from last year. That's $2,000 plus $1,400. You want those things in there. You don't just want $1,400. You want $1,400 plus $2,000. Adult dependents, you want $3,200 plus $2,000. You also want good business grants that people will get good sums of money, not $1,000 like you were cheated out of by SBA in spring of 2020. You want big, robust business grants. If you own a business, you pay taxes on the business, you operate the business, you sweat your heart and love for a business, you are owed a business grant, not these fly-by-night people that just sort of come up and say, hi, I have a business. You never had a business. You never pay taxes on it. All you have is a Facebook account and a logo you got for free on the internet. If you really have a business and you work hard on the business, you should get a business grant. Next, you should be entitled to a business loan. If Joe says he wants to give you a business loan to go start a new business, like Tia and a lot of other people want to start a new business, then the business loan should not exclude you because you have a credit score under 570. It shouldn't exclude you if you can't collateralize it over 25,000. It shouldn't exclude you based upon collateralization or credit scores or very difficult things. We're in the middle of a pandemic. People don't necessarily have good credit scores in the middle of a pandemic. It's sort of obvious there. So this is where we really are with where you want this thing to go. I understand what Kristen Gillibrand's saying, but people need to go from point A to point B. And, in December, it was emergency relief. Now it's January. How many more times are we going to keep on doing emergency release? We need to do something that's robust and full. You heard me. You heard me in December that the third stimulus package bill should be $3 to $5 billion. It should, and so I was surprised when it was 1.9, as you were. 1.9 is not a lot of money. The only thing that's good about the number is there's no pork in there. So Nancy's bills always had all that pork, all that stuff that had nothing to do with stimulus. This 1.9 is really tight, so far as we see, that it doesn't have a lot of pork. So that's why we're getting a lot of bang for our buck with this 1.9. And so now, as we sit back, the important thing to go from point A to point B is to keep the fire under congressional leaders' feet. At the 60-minute mark, let me give you a big update where we are. Wow, thank you for joining me. It's home, LA, your midday lighthearted recording, live from Los Angeles. This is LA Light. Thank you for joining me. If you've not subscribed, please subscribe. The subscribe link is underneath the video's description. It's also at the top of the chat. And if you've not considered becoming a member, consider becoming a member. We've had about 8 new members join us in this live chat today. Purple Power, Calcino VIP, or Purple Hawk. You get access to PDFs and ways to get money before other people find as well. The big news this afternoon. Hey, there's another one. Big Money Juice. I love that. Hey, Big Money Juice. Welcome to the family. I'm so excited for you joining part of this family. Everyone, welcome Big Money Juice. We're going for the big money and we're going for the juice. So that's a very appropriate screen name. The big thing as we start this afternoon is we now have confirmation, and this is incredible great news for Chuck Schumer, that the bill for the $1.9 trillion stimulus relief will be called for a vote and pass the Senate next week. So now we know where the path is. Remember, to make a bill a law, it has to start in the House, signed by the House, approved in the House. That will happen early next week. That's what I detailed on Mornings LATE. The House will approve the bill next week. Then they'll send it to the Senate, and the Senate will call for a vote and approve it next week. Chuck Schumer now confirms today. Remember, there's an element of bipartisanship, talking to people, trying to get things done. But there's also an issue of delay. And the longer we wait, the longer it doesn't look good for anyone. And that's why Purple Power absolutely was able to turn this around 2 days ago. I asked you to go on social media and take these videos like this one and share it and tag politicians with the hashtags, hashtag FPUC Retro, hashtag Purple Power, hashtag MSC, and hashtag SS200. Now you need to continue to do that. Why? Because the bill is currently in the subcommittees of the House. And they're futzing with the language, and they're futzing with the amounts. This is the time to say, knock, knock. Hi, how are you? I heard you're futzing with the FPUC part. I'd like you to futz it this way. I'd like, and 5,000 of you knock on the door. Hello, there's 5,000 of us knocking. We just watched LA, and the video went to, 55,000 views. We're knocking. We heard about this $400 a week FPUC. Can we just fix that number to a 6? Just change it to a 6, and then change the effective date to July 2020. So you need to really get it going. And he mentioned the FPUC retro LA. No, there's actually no FPUC retro. There's FPUC. The Biden bill is FPUC without retro. That's why we are pushing for retro. Biden's bill has $400 a week going forward to September. $400 a week, or as John just said, crumbs. $400 a week going forward to September. No retro. $1,400 stimulus check for individuals, $1,400 for children, $3,200 for adult dependents. If you're on SSI and SSDI, you would get a stimulus check. And you would get either $1,400 if you're adult, if you're not an adult dependent, or $1,400 or $3,200 if you're adult dependent. But no word about the $200 a month on top of existing benefits. Says D. Smith, great comment. Yes, we have heard no word. That's why hashtag SS200 is among our campaigns. That is where we are with that. We could certainly start a hashtag campaign to say, hey, don't do reconciliation. Let me explain the implication of a reconciliation process. That is the plan B. Plan one is everything. Plan B is reconciliation. A very complicated word to say, reconciliation. But plan B, reconciliation, is no bueno, because it would have literally almost nothing in there. It would never have the SSI in there. It would have nothing in there. It would have like stimulus check and maybe, something for some vaccine distribution. It may not even have FPUC in there. It may have nothing about unemployment in there. So reconciliation is no bueno. And I don't know why Kristen Gillibrand thinks it's good, because it's not. My next screen, great. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Thank you for the nice comment, Bethany. So we are in a good position, folks. We're in a good position because of you. You've done a great job. This is good news. We have a bill on path to get approved by the end of next week and on the president's table to sign. But the amount and the language, you need to push, because this is the time. And we really only have a 48-hour window. Let me make this clear. You really only have a 48-hour window to knock on the door of the people futzing with the language. Why? Because the bill is going to be finalized by about Friday. Any changes to the bill is going to be finalized by the end of Friday. And then it goes to the final vote in the whole House. And once it's done, it's going to the Senate. It's not going to get amended by Chuck Schumer. So that you have a really tight window to get this done. Hashtags and fingers need to get going on social media. Let me go over some of the incredible 2,000 comments and questions from 2 days ago's Home LLA. We, of course, did not have a Home LLA yesterday. So let me go over some of the 2,000 great comments from yesterday's video. If you're watching this video and you hear something and you're confused, or you have a comment or question, drop in the comments below, and I might feature your comment on air as well. Bob Mathias, I have never followed politics in my whole life, and I'm only following now because we're promised stimulus checks. Now it's beginning to sound far-fetched. Thank you. Tammy Hernandez, a year later, people are dying. He got his vote, like every one of them. They don't care about people in office now, on us now. Bob Matthias again. Okay, I'm a nerd. I really believe Spider-Man is more real than multiple stimulus checks, $200 a month, extra Social Security. Even with a $14 stimulus check, I guess Spider-Man is more believable than believing Biden. Wow. Gary Lloyd. It seems like a game with the American people. Very sad for the richest country in the world. Wow, thank you for that comment, Gary. Stay fit today. The $10,000 doesn't relate to most of us. Well, we don't do that on this channel. We don't ever say, that's not me, that's you, that's not you, that's me. We don't do that on the channel. So we're totally respectful of different people with different walks of lives. I have viewers of the channel who have been with me from day one, who are sole practitioners who need that $10,000. I have people who've been with me from day 5 that are SSI and SSDI. We're Purple Power. We welcome and help everyone. We don't just help one group of people. And be very frank, I do have an enormous number of people that are waiting for that $10,000. I can tell you, it's millions and millions of viewers who are waiting for that $10,000. Nick George. How can we trust the politicians when they make us a promise and then don't live up to the promises? Sad, sad situation in America. Nick and Rachel, Galveston, Texas. Oh, what a great town. Hello, Nick and Rachel from Galveston, Texas. Peggy McKinney. I'll put it this way. I would just be happy if they sent out the $1,400. That would catch us with 1 month for the December month, because it's ridiculous. We're sitting here waiting for them to do nothing like upset before they make promises they can't keep and won't keep. Interesting, her comment there. She said that the $1,400 would just basically cover her for the month of December. and we're not. And that was a comment made by someone 48 hours ago, saying it's not going to cover her for January at all. Carol Grubbs, keep it real and keep telling it straight like it is. Well, thank you. I appreciate it. I never mince my words here. If I don't like something I see, I tell you I don't like something I see. And if I do like something I see, I tell you what I do like. In this video, I'm certainly making clear I don't like reconciliation. I don't like the silence of the SSI and the SSDI. I don't like the MSC. I don't like the stimulus check, and I don't like the FPUC. There's a lot of other things that are very great. Ooh, boy, just lost my voice there. A lot of things are great in this bill, but those things need modification. Those things are modification. The $10,000 was a reference to the EIDL grant from 2020 that is now getting paid out for my 2020 viewers. Nick George, God rules, not politicians. Nick and Rachel, Galveston, Texas again. Well, there they are again. Thank you for watching. Peggy Holcomb, that's all they talk about. But when it comes down to us, it seems like it takes forever for them to sign the papers to send it to us. So get off your butt and sign it already. I love that. Thank you, Peggy Holcomb. Tell them to get off their butt and do it right now. Paul Malone, the stimulus is dead. It was never going to happen. Oh, I'm going to stop that comment. No, that's a lot of negativity right there. But thank you for watching, Paul. Samuel Camacho, what's up with the $1,400 stimulus for people on SSI and SSDI? Very simple. That's a great question. So people on SSI and SSDI, you will be treated like everyone else. You get a stimulus check of $1,400. Unless you're an adult dependent, then you get $3,200. Kathy Alderetti, clean air, really? This is referring to Joe Biden, who on day one spent the entire first day of his administration talking about clean air. In fact, today he also had some new executive orders about clean air because the air was not clean enough from the first day's executive orders. We need some more executive orders on clean air because it has to be super clean. It wasn't clean enough with the first days of executive orders. We need to have it super clean, like crispy clean, like, spotty clean. So let's do some more executive orders on clean air. As Leah says, oh no, yes, it's just that clean. No, need more. It's not clean enough. I just want it spotless. We're all a little perfectionists here. So Kathy says, clean air, really? He increased the emissions when he cut out the pipeline project. How does he think the oil will get down here now he has suspended the pipeline? He has no common sense whatever. Nick George. Oh, there's Nick George again. Nick from Galveston is just loving this chat here. If and when Americans receive stimulus check, it will be time to play the catch-up game for the past 10 months of being behind for the politicians, letting Americans down and not living up to their promises. Nick and Rachel in Galveston, Texas. Amen. And there's Willard Parker. All he does is lil. I thought I was going to send it to the American people right now. It's not. He not just like lil. And there you go. Wow, what a day it is. Did someone else have a clean land? So I hope the air's really clean where you are. There's a lot of executive orders to make sure that air is clean here today. So I hope your midday has beautifully clean air, even though it has no stimulus check in the third stimulus package yet. But there's great push underway, and I don't mean push to have some clouds and some rainbows for you. There's push underway to get the stimulus going. At the 28-minute mark, I'm here, you're here, and the lighting's doing some wacko things there, isn't it? It's going in and out a little bit. I see the joke about the air. How's it going to get rid of the smog? I don't know. Got to do those clean air stuff. And a new stamp. He did a new stamp yesterday or the day before, so that's, get those stamps out. Well, it's really important to get new stamps out because that will help send your stimulus check. Meantime, if you're still looking for that second stimulus check, understand there's a lot more progress on that. I've had a lot of nice viewers send me DMs in the last 24 to 48 hours saying they just got the stimulus check. I had one say got it today, one say got it yesterday. A lot say they got it on Friday and Saturday and Thursday. So have some hope. There's a big surge of arrivals happening. So give it some hope. Don't think you're late. Think you're in the pack is what I'm saying at the moment as to that second stimulus check, the $600. Now at the 29-minute mark, let me give you an update where we are now here on Afternoons LA. But before that, I did not cover some home stuff in this recording, and I do want to go over that right now. Today's Home LA has a very clear message, and the clear message is the recommendation for you to wear two masks, not one, but two masks when you go in public. A new CDC recommendation suggests that two masks is beneficial, especially if you've been using a fabric mask. There's a recommendation to pair two masks because there's concerns that the virus can still get in when it's a one mask situation. On Inauguration Day, you saw politicians wearing a surgical mask, the very basic one you can get, in a pack of 10 for $4, underneath a fabric mask. And viewers were wondering why were they wearing two masks. It appears they were wearing the two masks because of the new CDC orders, which of course they got and we didn't get. Not orders, but recommendations that they got that we did not get, which now suggests it's better when interacting to wear two masks. The recommendation is to pair them. Always ensure that the mask is over the lid of the nose and all the way down to the bottom. How do you breathe when there's two masks? That's certainly a very big issue. Some of these masks are very thick and they are unnaturally thick. So understand the resistance of the mask and also the fit is what protects you. And ultimately, if it is very thick, you may have issues with breathing through something that is that thick. When I recommend, at least from what I do, is I have traditionally, you've been seeing me wear a bandana since day one of this pandemic. I wear a bandana, but now I'm pairing two bandanas or I'm doing bandana plus surgical. It's a little bit hard because sometimes the bandana pushes on the surgical and they break and things like that. But figure out what's best for you. Ultimately, it's important to do that. And I always wear gloves. I always wear gloves, which is really quite important as well. With that, let me give you the big update as we hit the 31-minute mark on Home LLA. Thank you for joining me. This is our midday report on stimulus. And the great news as you start the afternoon is a series of new comments by Chuck Schumer. He's now, of course, the majority leader in the Senate, Democrat. And he confirms that the third stimulus package bill, which is currently going to get signed and approved in the House early next week, will be called for a vote in the Senate next week and approved in the Senate. Now remember, Mitch McConnell is no longer in control of the Senate, so Chuck determines when and how bills are called for a vote. So this won't be, I have to say that, although it's very obvious, I want to make sure you're up to date where we are and everything. In 2020, Mitch McConnell would never call anything for Nancy passed for a vote because he's a Republican. He says, I'm not calling it for a vote. Well, Chuck Schumer now controls the agenda as the majority in control of the Senate. So he's confirming that the bill will be called for a vote next week. This means the bill could become law by the end of next week. But in this recording, I explained why you're going to see a Plan A, which is the bill, and a Plan B called reconciliation going on at the same time. The Plan B is to mirror the two processes with a backup. The Plan B is not a particularly good backup because it wouldn't give you the entire stimulus that you're needing. Meantime, the Plan A needs some modification. So take this video and go on social media, tag the politicians to share this video with the hashtag FPCRetro to ensure that retro FPC is done, because it's currently not offered, at $600 a week instead of $400 a week. That hashtag MSC, because you're promised $2,000 and $1,400, not $1,400. And finally, SS200, to ensure that Joe puts the SS200 in this bill, because that's what he promised in writing. It's important to do that, be respectful and be polite and professional. And with that, thank you for your great comments, and thank you for the people in Galveston. The one guy with his 4 comments, all great. And I love the one person who said, get off your butts and get going. Well, tell them to get off their butts and get going. If you have comments in today's video, drop them in the comments below. They may be featured in tomorrow's recording. If you've not subscribed, click the subscribe button in the description. Consider becoming a member. Click the member link, Purple Hawk, Purple Power, Calcino VIP. And thank you for the 10 new members who joined during this recording. If you see this recording later in the day, it's then taped. Stay informed, stay focused, and I will see you at 3:30 with a continuation on Afternoons LALATE.